Another live. Great. Alright, let me check this. Alright, so guess I'm just gonna wait for someone to appear, show up. Same difference. Basically just wait for viewers and then get started. So yeah. Alright. Don't want that. Don't want that. Hey, Tracker! Hope you're doing good. Yeah, I'm genuinely sorry I didn't do one yesterday. I'll admit I really didn't feel up to it. Also, it was laid out. It was laid out. I didn't feel up to it. I'm sorry. I hope I can make up for it today by giving you a live stream. At the very least, just creating one. I made it. I am, but all right. Oh, I am so sorry to hear that. Yeah, I'm really sorry to hear about that, Tracker. That's not. Well, no kidding, it's not fun, but I really am sorry to hear that. If it helps, I will keep your family in my prayers. But yeah, again, I'm sorry to hear that. Alright. Wait here, I'm gonna change my profile pic. Alright. Yeah. Alright, so, the Wagon Trains. That's what this entire live stream is about. For those watching, if you don't know what I'm referring to in particular, where I live, my community holds an event called Hangtown Days, the Wagon Trains, the Highway 50 Wagon Train Association. What that is, essentially, is basically, oh my goodness. I don't even remember I don't remember specific dates, but basically, annually, once a week, they actually get out genuine wagons. And from the California-Nevada border, that area in particular, by South Lake Tahoe, all the way to Placerville, they do a week-long trip. This is to commemorate the gold rush, the history, all that. Pretty much what made California a state. All right? Yeah, so I'm pretty much just here talking about it, I guess. I also wanted to, oh my goodness. I kind of wanted to talk about, Davy Doc Weiser. Yeah. Davy Doc Weiser, he was pretty much a local legend. And he did a lot to support this association. Unfortunately, he passed away. When he passed away, I'm not entirely sure. So, welcome back, Tracker Wild. Yeah. Okay. Mountain Democrat is not doing a good job at giving me the information I want. Change my profile picture. I can see that. I'll check it out later. But yeah. Let's try this again. It's gonna be okay. Yeah, that's gonna be stubborn. Anyways, as I said recently, Davy Clark, Davy Doc Weiser was a legend of the town, pretty much. And he did a lot to keep the wagon trains going. He was also part of the National Pony Express Association. He was a part of the National Pony Express Association. Is it hold on. Oh wow. Alright, that's cool. Yeah. Alright. It's read, not read. Alright. Let's see. Can I actually get what I'm trying to look up on my computer? Hopefully. Yeah. But no, I'll admit, they actually did like a little ceremony commemoration event at the last Wagon Train, which I thought was really cool. Because I'll admit, I actually didn't know that much about what he did. But after they did a little announcement talking about the history of what he did, that really opened my eyes up to what he did for the association, which I think is pretty cool. But all right, let's see. Folsom Times, does that give me what I'm looking for? Okay, thankfully. The cowboy rides on. Doc Weiser left many of us a legacy of lessons. According to, and this is from FolsomTimes.com. According to the website, El Dorado County lost a true piece of its identity this week with the passing of Davy Doc Weiser at the age of 84. A man who didn't just honor the Old West, he lived in a way that made it real for generations who crossed his path. For many of us who grew up in El Dorado County, Doc wasn't just a familiar face. He was a part of the experience of growing up here. Long before I ever knew him personally, I knew exactly who he was. You didn't need an introduction. When Doc was in town, you felt it. The sound of hooves on Main Street, the sight of a stagecoach rolling through Hangtown, and the presence of someone who seemed like he had stepped right out of the 1800s and into your day. As a kid, I always looked forward to seeing him arrive with the wagon train. There was something about it that made history feel alive in a way that no book ever could. You didn't fully understand it at the time, but you knew it. But you knew it mattered. You knew it was special, and somehow Doc had a way of making those moments stick with you long after the dust settled. Hey, Gremlin. Yeah, it's been a while, to say the least. As you could tell probably from the live stream title, I am talking about the Wagon Trains. By all means, please ask me any questions you want to. I'll try and answer. But yeah, pretty much just talking about the event. Also talking about Davy Doc Weiser, who did a lot for the association. Shout out to the Wagon Trains. Yes, definitely. I've stated it in several videos before, specifically for the most recent one. I will say it again. If you feel it in your heart, please go donate to their association. They are a cause worthy of being supported and a cause worthy of helping out. California is not nice to them, to say the least. So any help they can get would be greatly appreciated. Anything I could do to help them, even though I'm not a part of the association itself, all the more merrier. Yeah. Have you seen the 20 Mule Borax one in Bishop? No, I have not, but I have heard of the 20 Mule team. All that. I'm gonna be back. I'm gonna play Grace with my friend. I will be back. Bye. Alright, Tracker. I'll admit, I'm not entirely too certain how long I'm gonna be doing this. But, yeah. Yeah. So currently, just let you know, Gremlin, I'm reading about Davy and who he was. Yeah. All right. According to FolsomTimes.com, that wasn't by accident. Doc found his place in Placerville the moment he arrived, famously recalling that he moved to El Dorado County at exactly 5:15 p.m. on March 28th, 1977. Oh, wow. I found my niche in life when I got up here, he once said, and he did just that, building a life that would become inseparable from the town itself. Yeah. It's cool there's so much history in Eastern California that gets overlooked. Oh, definitely. I caught that. Sucks how we're losing all the old timers and their stories. Definitely, yeah. Um, yeah, like for example, a fact that I learned in Placerville when I actually got the clip of the horses coming in through town past the bell tower. They were talking about his legacy, right? He actually he was part of the National Pony Express Association. B, he also changed the street name, like on Main Street, to Stagecoach Alley, and I forget what it used to be called, but he changed that. He got to, oh my goodness, speaking faster than I could think. Great, but basically he changed the street name. So I don't know if I even got in the video, but Stagecoach Alley, yeah, that's because of him. So he did a lot for Placerville. He did a lot for the association, just in general. Like he's a local legend. So I'm a furry and a fox. Hmm. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Anyways, back to Davy Doc. Definitely, yeah. There's more about there's a lot more about him that I want to find an article about because yeah. Um yeah, for example, appealdemocrat.com. He's keeping history alive in Placerville. Um Yada yada yada. So okay, this article is pretty much saying the same thing as the last one. Not only that, but like I was saying, he was a part of the association. What he was known for, and again, I learned this. Oh my goodness, I learned Friday. No, it was Saturday. My goodness. He was actually known for basically just giving out free wagon rides down Main Street for anyone who felt like it. You wanted a wagon ride down Main Street? Sure, go ahead. He offered them for free. Yeah. Are you a furry? No, I am not. Yeah. 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 Okay. Nice. Wish there were more like him keeping history alive. Definitely. Yeah. We definitely need a lot more. We need a lot more people trying to preserve history, in my opinion. If I had a horse and wagon, I would. LOL. Definitely. Yeah. Oh my goodness. The website itself, Highway 50, like the Highway 50 Association, that website itself isn't the best. But if you wanted to, you could register your wagon and your horse and ride with the train. But yeah, I hear you. My girlfriend is a Therian. All right. Are you gonna post it in your community page when I retire? Yeah, I've been like, specifically for my community page, I've been meaning to do this. basically just give a whole overview of my entire thoughts. Not only that, but the local businesses, because so the trains, right? They come down the road and then they stop for the night. So up in Pollock, they're going to be stopping at the community center. Well, when they stop at the community center, there's a bunch of other things. There's a bunch of other things to see. There's vendors, there's games, all that. So that's a cool, in my opinion, that's a cool way to see the community, and see different businesses and whatnot, and just really connect with the people around here. So yeah, I definitely got to make a community post, shouting out different businesses because they're worth it. So. When I retire? Yeah, pretty much. I hear that, Gremlin. Are you the main character? No, I am not. Alright. Hi, hello. Welcome in. Welcome in. Yeah. Hello. It's Lily. Oh, hey Lily. Hope you're doing good. Yeah. Alright. Alright. But, oh my goodness. At a loss for words right now. That's fun. Real fun. Yeah. Alright. So, again, talking about the wagon trains, like I've stated for the umpteenth time. But basically, this is the rundown and overview according to Highway50wagontrain.com, the organization itself. So, wagon train history. As early as the 1840s, a trickle of humanity began the arduous. My goodness, I can't read. Great. Arduous journey toward the great Pacific and the freedom they foresaw in settling there. In 1849, the cry of gold from the foothills of California Territory rocked the world. Instant riches was a lure too strong to ignore, and that little trickle of settlers swelled into a mighty flood of gold seekers and adventurers, bound for California and the motherlode. Leaving property and families behind, hordes of men and few women traveled west, following the setting sun, seeing only the glint of gold in their eyes. Many routes were taken to the gold fields, across the plains and mountain ranges of the great continent, by sailing ship around the Horn, or to the, oh my goodness, I can't read that, Isthmus of Panama. And yes, I butchered that, but in a trek through tropical jungle to board another ship on the Pacific side, and up the coast of Mexico to ports of San Diego, Monterey, and San Francisco. From there, it was overland to the foothills, where it was told that gold, lots of gold, was lying on the ground, just waiting to be taken. Spoiler alert, the people who actually made the most money off the gold rush was the general store people, the people selling the equipment. But let's continue. Of course, we all know that very few actually became rich from gold mining. Those entrepreneurs who recognized gold in providing necessities and services to the prospectors fared much better and became the business base of what is now the great state of California. In the early 1850s, one of the major land routes to California, traversing what we now know as Echo Summit and the Highway 50 corridor, became known as the Roaring Road. Travel was so heavy through this area, oftentimes wagon trains were forced to wait for days to have their turn on the road. You always want to be the guy selling the shovels during the gold rush. Yeah, pretty much. That's kind of how it was back at, Black Cavern Chasm. If you've ever been there, I've been there a few times. But as the story goes, if I remember correctly, because they didn't find any actual gold in the cavern themselves, the people doing the cavern tour would charge a little gold. That's what I remember being told, but yeah. Add a Q&A sticker. Yeah. But yeah, so basically, I guess that's how Black Cavern Chasm made its riches. In fact, let me double check that. That's what I remember being told a while ago. Alright. What are you reading? I am reading the Highway 50 Association's history on the wagon train. Because again, this whole live stream is about talking about the wagon train. Yeah. Nice. I take it you're from the area if you don't mind me interfering. Not at all, not at all. No, yeah, I am from the area. I will admit it's funny because I try not to say exactly where I'm from and all that, and yet I'm talking about the general area. But that's kind of what comes with it when you're talking about something like this, which is a very local event. But yeah, but no, I'm obsessed with the history up here. My goodness. All right. Let's see. Gold Country Adventures. Is that the actual website though? Do you still read the Bible on here? At times, I haven't done it for a while. I'll admit. I should probably do it soon. But I have not done Bible reading for a while. I'll admit half the comments I was getting on these live streams kind of pushed me away from the idea of doing a live stream, as ridiculous as that sounds. Then again, it can be exhausting and overwhelming if that makes sense. But yeah. All right, Black Cavern Chasm. Let's see. Does it give me the actual history on it? Sweet. Can't stress how much history there is. Give me a second and I'll send you this cave that was occupied by natives all the way to the gold rush. Oh, wow. Yeah, definitely. That's something I would definitely like to see and read up on. That's awesome. All right. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Black Cavern Chasm. Oh, perfect. Here's the yeah. All right. Here's the I'll get back to the history of the chasm once Gremlin returns if he left for a second. But yeah. All right, back to the wagon train, and then I'll talk about the chasms. But yeah. All right. Okay. In the years that ensued, the Roaring Road continued to grow, becoming a major travel route in and out of California. As early as 1946, almost 100 years after the first cry of gold echoed around the world, a group of local citizens began to ponder the possibility of recreating a wagon train to commemorate the valiant struggles of the early immigrants who found their way to their homes in California via the old Roaring Road. By 1949, the dream had become a reality. To commemorate the 100th anniversary of the gold rush, a wagon train was formed to travel west from Lake Tahoe to Placerville, aka Old Hangtown, along Highway 50. In addition, it was felt that the wagon train would draw a great deal of attention to the Highway 50 corridor and the small businesses that operated along it. The Highway 50 wagon train was a smashing success. This one-time event was not presented in 1950, but due to the overwhelming popularity and encouragement offered, the wagon train resumed in 1951. and has made its annual trek each year since that time. What began as a fun-filled and exciting adventure has evolved into a true historic event recognized as such in 1980 by the state of California, the same state that's trying to choke them out, and again in 1982 by the state of Nevada. To date, the Highway 50 Association Wagon Train is known as the only bi-state historic event. The Highway 50 Association Wagon Train hosts school groups intent on reliving and experiencing their history. Students participating in the wagon train activities, as well as their own concurrent living history programs, have come away wide-eyed, having shared an experience of a lifetime. Check out Bameret Cave in Amador County, UC Berkeley, has an ebook about it, about what they found there. They found one of the only mummies in California. Oh wow! All right, let me look that up. That's actually really interesting. All right. All right. Also, Gremlin, would you like to hear? Because I have the thing for the Black Cavern Chasm pulled up. I was talking about that earlier. Would you like me to read that off? See what it says, or just continue? Yeah, continue with what I was doing. All right. So, taking a little detour from the wagon train history, I'm getting back to that, but a little detour. Black Chasm history. While Chasm Cavern was likely known about by the local Milwaukee people who existed in this area long before the gold rush, the first documented exploration occurred in 1854 when a group of explorers braved the unknown to discover the phenomenal beauty that exists below the surface, including a bright blue lake and millions of sparkling crystals that seem to twist from the cavern walls in every direction. We now know these unusual formations as oh my goodness, helictites. Simple simple tours were held at Black Chasm in those early days, barely penetrating the cavern system that we know today. Shortly afterward, with the decline of the gold rush, Black Chasm was abandoned and largely forgotten about, except for by a handful of oh my goodness, I can't read. That's great. Speleologists. Speleologists that continue to explore the chasm and discover the seemingly endless beauty of the cavern. Over 100 years after its discovery, Black Chasm was recognized by the federal government for the abundance of unusual rare oh my goodness. Same word, or almost, but yeah, called helictites that grow throughout the cavern, and declared a national